Egypt's interim president, Adli Mansour, and the military-backed government, they've gone fully nuclear. And when I say that, I don't mean like in the U.S. how we just went nuclear the other day with the filibuster, which just meant that 51 votes now beats 49 votes for judicial appointments. The furthest thing from actually going nuclear I could imagine. Well, in this case, the Egyptian government banned protests. Now, you're probably thinking like I was, how can you do that? How can you just unilaterally say, nobody's allowed to protest any longer? Especially in a place like Egypt, where for the past however many years they've been doing nothing but protesting because their government isn't representing them. Whether it was under Mubarak, the autocrat, or whether it was under Mohamed Morsi, the person who won the election but then did a massive power grab, part of the Muslim Brotherhood, and entrenched himself, and then he got overthrown as well. Well, basically, they say, look, if you protest, it's not our fault if something happens to you. That's what the military is saying. And if you recall, it was only a couple months ago that we were covering, day after day, we were giving you updates about flat-out slaughters that were happening in the streets of Egypt. And it was the Egyptian military gunning down the Muslim Brotherhood. Now, I'm no fan of the Muslim Brotherhood. In fact, I hate them. They're the last people I would ever vote for. But reports are that the overwhelming majority of them were peacefully protesting because they wanted Mohamed Morsi back in power, and the Egyptian military came in and started mowing them down with machine guns. So the law actually stops public gatherings of more than 10 people without prior government approval. How police state-ish. Joseph Stalin would be very proud of you. They also banned gatherings in places of worship. Could you imagine that? Banning gatherings in places, well, then what? People aren't allowed to go to the mosque anymore? It's the most populous Muslim country in the world. You're banning people from going to mosques? I mean, that's insane. That's something that, like, even conservatives in the U.S. haven't tried to do that. And these guys are saying, essentially, ban religion in a way. And look, you guys know I hate religion. I'm as secular as it gets. But it doesn't mean you ban it. It means you try to work, educate people and explain why it's the wrong way to go. In a free society, you have to allow people to make their own decisions and believe whatever they want to believe. But no, these guys are going a step further. Police now also have the right to unrestricted use of birdshot to put down protests. And originally, there was an article that prohibited the use of force in excess as part of this bill. That was removed. I mean, think about how brazen that is. Yeah, we want to make sure we don't abuse our authority. And the military just unilaterally decided, yeah, let's scrap that thing about no overuse of force. We might end up doing that. Now, on top of all of this, penalties range from $1,500 in fines to $44,000 in fines, which both of those numbers are unpayable in Egypt, basically. And also it ranges up to 7 years in prison. You can get up to 7 years in prison for protesting. In fact, the law even calls for 1 year in prison for covering the face in a country where many women still wear the full face veils. So this is another way that the military is saying, hey, fuck you, to the Muslim Brotherhood, but to Islam in general here. This isn't even just targeted to the Muslim Brotherhood. And again, it sucks I have to continue to make these caveats because you guys already know this, but I have to keep saying it because there'll be some jackass who fires back and tries to attack me for this. I don't like religion. I hate religion. I'm anti every single religion. I think they're all made up. I think they're all dumb. But you can't just ban people covering their face or people practicing their religion. That is insanity. That is like North Korea. That is a police state. That is totalitarianism / fascism / tyranny / dictatorship / fill in the blank with whatever thing that means an authoritarian regime imaginable. Now, here is the truly bone-chilling sentence in the article about this. Quote, "The new law is more restrictive than regulations used under the rule of autocrat Hosni Mubarak." If there was any question remaining that Egypt has gotten into a worse place than it was in beforehand, that gets rid of all questions right there. It's now more restrictive, more police state-like than it was under Hosni Mubarak, the dictator.